The 2023 Labour presidential candidate, Peter Obi, yesterday, Monday, said that the threat from the United States President Donald Trump to invade Nigeria with military force over Christian genocide claims should give every Nigerian serious concern. Obi stated this in a post on X 2 days after Trump said that if Nigeria does not stem the killings, the United States will attack, and it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. In an explosive post on his Truth Social platform on Saturday, United States President Trump said he asked the Pentagon to map out a possible plan of attack in Nigeria, 1 day after warning that Christianity was facing an existential threat in Africa's most populous country. Obi also expressed deep concern over Trump's designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern, calling for diplomatic engagement between Nigeria and the United States. Also yesterday, the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Larry Onilu, took a swipe at the President of the United States, saying his allegation of genocide is a failure of the United States intelligence, and wonder why another country feels it has the power to attack another in this guise. With the mounting tension between the federal government and the United States, many are already asking what better approach should be taken and would be needed to help diffuse the current situation. Well, this and more as it concerns the recent threat to engage the terrorists in Nigeria by the United States is what this edition of Dialogue is all about, and that is creating a harmonious relationship between the United States to end the current impasse. That's what we're having as a major discourse today on Dialogue, on our Viewpoint on Atlantic TV. We're looking at creating a harmonious relationship with the United States, especially at this time. There seems to be heightened tension. But anyway, I doubt if he's tense to talk about it. He looks more relaxed and ready to go. And I'm talking of no other person but our guest in the studio. And we're talking of no other person but Comrade Emeka Onwukocha. I called him Comrade, so the United States government will know he's not a military personnel of Nigeria. So in case where they come looking, they will not be looking for him. But all I'm saying is, you do know he's a comrade of high repute and also a member of the push for good governance and democracy in Nigeria. Comrade Emeka Onwukocha, welcome to the show, and it's another lovely time for us to talk about things.
Yeah, Mike, thank you very much for that wonderful affiliation.
Yes, so I needed to let them know. You are not of the Nigerian military. Okay, well, anyway, let's leave that. Now, before we go into what better way we need to do to especially diffuse the current tension brewing between Nigeria and the United States of America, I want us to first look at the statement coming from President Donald Trump, which he stated on his Truth platform just some days ago. And it concerns striking out the murderous terrorists that are killing Christians in Nigeria. Now, my question is, are Christian faith, especially in the North, really under threat? Or, just like the NOA director said, it's a misrepresentation of facts? Let's try and place that fact first in our push to really direct our discussion. Are Christians in the North facing an existential threat, or just like Larry Onulu, the director of the NOA, said yesterday, that, well, all of that is a misrepresentation of the real facts?
Yes, Mike, let me take it from this angle. The lives of Nigerians are facing existential threats in Nigeria.
Okay.
The answer is yes.
Okay.
Going by the recurring attacks, recurring insurgency, militancy as across board, the life of every Nigerian is under threat. In other words, the country is violating, the Section 33 of the 1999 Constitution that guarantees freedom of life to every Nigerian. And the country itself is still violating the same constitution on Section 14, subsection 2b, that says that the primary purpose of governance is what? The security
of life and property.
And security and welfare of the citizens. So the government is violating. In other words, the average life of Nigerians is under threat. If the life of Nigerians is under threat, is it the religion that is not under threat? So the answer is clear. If the life of the Nigerian is under threat in Nigeria, in our sovereignty called Nigeria, is it the religion that the people practice that's not in interest? So Christianity is under threat in this country. There is no petting it. In as much as the people's lives are under threat, so the religion is under threat. I think that is a simple answer to that question, Mr. Mike.
But the question still remains: is it only Christians that are being attacked in this decade-old war of Islamic extremists? Let's also state that fact, because that's where another question is. Yes, we do know Donald Trump said, well, he's going to in every way protect those cherished Christians, as he said it. But should we also not look at also other Nigerians that are being killed in all of these buhaha that seems to be coming on account of the Islamic extremists? So are Muslims not also being killed? Because just 2 days or 2 weeks ago, rather, we saw what happened in a mosque in the northern part of Castina. So let's understand that fact also. Are Muslims not also getting the crossfire, especially as it concerns these Islamic terrorists?
Yes, in as much as the terrorism in Nigeria, is not, how do I call it, one-faced thing. It cut across board. The Christians, have had their own fair share, of the harm, just as the Muslims have. But what we're saying here is that when the Muslims communities are attacked,
yes, didn't
you hear the community still come to shout blue murder, to wanting to protect that race? Yes, they come. They do. So you must protest, what you cherish. While the Christians are protesting their religion and protesting Christians, Muslims too, who are still falling under the bullets of these terrorists, are still protecting, are still shouting, saying we are being killed, please protect us. So, but in the case of Donald Trump, he has a personal interest for the Christians. So if those that have personal interest in the Muslims fail not to do anything, it is their own cup of tea. So nothing stops you from saying that the Muslims should not be killed if you have personal interest in them, knowing fully well that their life, should not go under the threat of the Islamic. So that Donald Trump is saying that his concern about Christians is a priority to him, to his government, to the laws of America. That Christians must be protected across the globe. So you cannot fault him for coming out to say, why must the Christians face persecution in a particular section of this globe? And if you're going by the narrative, by the killings, unless you want to say, okay, let us deploy some very palatable adjective to qualify it. So when the lives of a people are constantly being killed, are they not facing persecution? What is the persecution about it? That is when a harm is being met on the people constantly, and there is no instrumentality of governance in place to checkmate and bring those who are perpetrating the crime to book. So it becomes persecution, because it comes to recurring. And that is what we have seen across Nigeria. Which Nigerian, representatives would come to tell us now that he's not paying about, the situation of security in this country, unless he intends not to be truthful, to himself. But the answer is glaring. The data stare everybody in the face. So the fact is that the security situation in this country is worrisome. It is killing, it is alarming. It is toxically deployed. And it is high time, even if not United States, is it not high time Nigerians should wake up and call on the government to at least put a final death knell on this harm? Is it not enough? It's time. Since 2012 till now, we have been, it's always front, back, and nothing has actually happened. It's as if the terrorists, are beyond the government's control. And that is exactly what we have seen happening. So Donald Trump is expressing, his concern about how lives have been lost, more so when it concerns the Christians. So you cannot blame him. It's his own priority.
So yes. All you are saying is strike from the United States is quite justifiable.
It might not be justifiable because under United Nations Charter, the principles of United Nations Charter, under the Territorial Integrity, Act, no nation, should deploy force under attack or whatever they may call it against any nation.
That's the sovereignty of every nation.
Sovereignty of nation is sacrosanct. So United Nations does not have the right under that United Nations Charter to say, I want to invade Nigeria. Rather, what is recommended is state dialogue. So if they go doing that, that means there is a total violation of that principle
UN Charter.
or the UN Charter. Because all of us, Nigeria, United Nations, we are all equal. And that charter made it possible that every member, has equal stake, irrespective of your size and power. So they don't really have, if they do that, they're just doing it at their own volition. And it's in total violation of United Nations Charter. And that's the truth about that.
But does the United Nations Charter not also talk about the sanctity of life and protecting it in every way possible?
Yes, it did say something about that. That is as in the circumstances under which a nation could, put that sovereignty under threat. But if that happens, if there's a need for United Nations to intervene, when the actions in that country is posing threat, international threat, they could intervene. But if they intervene, they are intervening as a union.
Is this not posing a threat?
It does.
That is now spilling over to other West African countries.
It does.
Chad spills over to Chad, spills over to Cameroon, spills over to Benin, and all of that.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Obviously, it does. But where it might not be sanctioned is that no nation, United Nations is holding just a stake, just as any other tiny
United
nation.
States, you mean?
United States is holding just a stake, just as other tiny nations within that United Nations community is holding the same stake. So he does not have the veto power to do that, unless the UN calls as a body to implement this or to effect this. Then it becomes ideal. And
now talking about effecting this, just yesterday we also saw that the Canadian government also brought up this same issue and talked about Christians being persecuted immensely in Nigeria. Now we're talking about more nations. Do you see this gathering momentum and at the end pushing other nations to line up with the United States to take decisive action against these murderous bandits and terrorists?
You see, anything done with the United Nations Charter and activities, they do it in line with the laid down procedures. It's procedural.
Okay.
Not minding the sentiment of United Nations currently now, right? Other nations may still share same sentiment. But if it must be a collective thing, it must come under the body of UN.
Okay.
Because if any individual state champions it, it amounts to violation of that act. Just as it says that every nation must refrain from the use of force, either through invasion or whatever, on any state. So, I think if we must respect that, I think United States should deploy other techniques, other methods, to actually going about it. But if they, just as Trump, had uttered his word, putting Pentagon, put them under notice, that's
just trying to see if there a change will
come. Just try to see if there could be a change. And for me, he's acting out of his own personal volition. Because, these countries wield so much power. When you mention UN, automatically you're talking about United States of America. They belong to the power blocks. And most times they can veto certain things and do certain things and nothing will happen. And it is on that pedestal that Trump is acting. You recall what happened between US and Iraq?
Yes.
Even when US...
in 1991.
Even when US was cautioned not to invade Iraq, they went ahead to invade Iraq. And nothing happened. That tells you that they are the big masquerades, within that committee of nations. So you must respect their sentiment. Because they can do anything. And water mining whose ox is God. And that is just it. That is state. And that is the venom. That is the power that US is wielding. And Trump being himself, believes in his actions. And he believes that if he speaks, other nations cowards. And that's exactly the way it is at the international scene. So that is...
But would it not be right in saying that these persons are really persecuted? Would it not be correct in saying that these persons are being almost cleared out of existence? We've seen some very terrible videos and all of that. Well, I'll just plead with you to hold on. Well, in case you're joining us, it's Dialogue on Atlantic TV, and today on the show, we're talking about the recent tension that seems to be brewing on account of that very statement coming from no other but President Donald Trump, saying that, well, if the Nigerian government will not take action against the murderous terrorist bandits ravaging some part of the country, well, he will be forced to do so. And we also do know that he has already instrumented the Minister of War in America to stand ready as much as Pentagon should also map up or come up with a plan that would effect a possible vicious and indeed, like he said, a very needed attack on these murderous terrorists or bandits. That's what we're still having as a major one today. We're talking about what needs to be done in every way to diffuse the tension that seems to be brewing on account of that statement between the Nigerian government and also that of the United States of America. But anyway, he's not in America, but right here in the studio with us, and we're talking of still our guests right here in the studio. I'm talking of no other person, Emeka Onwukocha, helping us to make sense out of all of it. Now, let's understand. Many persons will say, yes, this has been happening for more than a decade now, in all honesty. But according to our figures, at least 2,266 people were killed in the first half of 2025 compared to 1,083 people that were killed also in the first half of 2024 and 2,194 that was even killed in the total of 2024. Now, my question is, do you feel the high rate numbers of people that were killed in the first half of 2025 is another reason that is bringing this recent push from the United States of America? Yeah, it has been happening for decades, but the recent numbers seems to be staggering and seems to be high. So do you feel that these recent killings, high rate of killing, is now also the reason that is dragging world attention into this very issue?
The high rate of killings, for me, is no longer news or history.
For us, Nigeria.
Yeah. And you know, international communities are very, very, they are very, very diligent, you know, in getting this data straight. What is happening there is, you know, UN, you know, has been following up the trends, and over time we have seen complaints, you know, from Nigerians, you know, whose loved ones, you know, had been killed following these senseless attacks. And the complaints most times is that, you know, there's always, you know, an attempt to wipe us out. Mostly the Christian communities, you know, they cry most times to the government.
Yes.
And most of them, you know, make petitions to the UN. So make petitions to the United States, you know, detailing their pains and their agony. So over time, this data have been collated. And when this data has been collated, it's not as if that at a point, you know, a solution was brought to play.
Yes.
It even gets worse. And the complaints keep coming. And United Nations, like United States, I do tell you, you know, it's a country that puts its ears on ground. You know, when you talk about fundamental human rights, the rule of law, it starts and ends there, if I must tell you the gospel truth. And these things are total violation of the fundamental rights and rule of law, which are the foundational pillar of a democratic government, upon which the sovereignty of every nation stands. So for them, even based on that, it's even enough for them, you know, to want to call the government's consigned to order. Okay. Even if not really invading, you know, to issue a threat, asking them to act tirelessly and decisively. Yeah. Because from the manner our governments over time have been handling this insurgency and threats to life of Nigerians, it's mind-boggling. Mr. Mike, I want to tell you, it is more or less like the government is caught napping. It's more or less like our security architectures, you know, are overwhelmed. It's more or less like, you know, the insurgency has come to stay. It's now rooted and it has found its way into the body politics of Nigeria. But it's so alarming that these things are solvable. You don't need rocket science to solve it. It already requires political will. Like I do say here, put the money where the money should be spent. The people's welfare is the primary motive, primary purpose of governance. So you must prioritize their welfare, you must prioritize their security. But are they doing that in this country? The answer is no, Mr. Mike. So all these challenges have been left over the years. They have become a mountain now, you know, staring the country in the face. So to deal with it now becomes a Herculean task. So what the government should do is, please, you can't continuously do something the same way and expect a different result. So let us prove to the world that we are pained, that no Nigerian life is worth being lost under such senseless killing or attack or whatever thing you may call it. But if we could actually, operate on the sacrosanctity of life as the Constitution has guaranteed. See, any one Nigerian that dies is enough for this country to rise up and unleash the mayhem on whoever that perpetrated that act. But is that what we are saying now? It is not. Most times, these issues are treated with kid gloves. People that perpetrated the act, most times, you even see them walk free man in the street as if, the death of Nigerians, do no longer matter to the government, even to the persons who we believe are our due representatives. Yeah. So it's annoying, it's alarming. So the international communities over time have been watching this trend. So alarming trend. It appears these guys, treat these issues with kid gloves. So why would we allow human life to be wasted under these very deplorable circumstances? So we must act because they have the power, they have the technology, they have the finances, they have the commitment, they have the manpower, they have the military across board to intervene, if nothing, at least to save humanity from this annihilation. Only that alone has given them the credibility to wanting to tell Nigeria that if you do not do something decisively, do you even know what the United States is saying? It's not saying we are coming to attack Aso Rock. We are coming to attack the terrorists and demobilize them.
Yeah, this brings me to my next question. And in talking about my next question, I want us now to look at Daniel Bala, who reacted. He's the special advisor on policy communication to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And he said it will be diplomatically unacceptable. I'm using his own words,
yes,
not mine. He said it will be diplomatically unacceptable if the U.S. undertake any military operation in Nigeria without the explicit consent of the federal government, which I consider, like I said, one of the strongest response yet to that very threat from President Donald Trump, saying he would definitely do something about it. But I'm now being forced to ask, should we not be on the same page on this issue, rather than making it look as if we are going to war on account of this? Because is it not giving the terrorists a red eye, a bloody nose, something that both of the countries should be thinking of doing? Should we not be on the same page on this rather than quarrel about it? That's my question.
It's a case of the country not acting when it was necessary.
Should we not be happy now that we're having the world power, the number one country on the planet, the most powerful country on planet Earth, wanting to help us deal with this issue? Should we not be a thing of gratitude rather than a thing of, hey, what do you think?
The other Nigerians that are named, who are seriously losing confidence in the country, losing public trust in the country, we'll be happy to hear this kind of action, US is wanting to take. The average Nigerian who had been maimed and who will still be maimed, because there is no mechanism on ground to checkmate the incursions of these militants, insurgents, marauders, call them whatever name. There's none. So when they hear this, it appears a succor is about coming. And also when the United States says, we are coming to attack the terrorists, though responsible for these atrocities, only that word alone will kind of, re-engineer your mind, if, telling you that there is still hope to live. Because those who are still living cannot guarantee their tomorrow. That's the truth. In mostly the north central states, Benue, Plateau, or whatever. I'm telling you, even the northeast. So if you were a Nigerian living in those areas and you're hearing this, would it not serve as a ray of hope to you? So the Nigerian government ought to have be circumspect, proactive. That's the sense of thinking ahead. Because when these problems, we had become Herculean before our noses, we ought to have gone to the US. Because these guys are master planners. They are experts. Forget it. In terrorism incursions. Why can't we, liaise with them? Let us seek their assistance. All we want is that this devilish thing, must stop. Whichever way we stop it, we don't want to know. But did we do that? Rather, we are all saying as if, we can deal our internal problems ourselves. We can deal our internal problems. You can now see what it took before US was able to even send the Tucana jet to Nigeria. You can imagine the rigmarole. You can imagine the diplomatic role. All those things ought not to have happened. It's because our leaders are not doing what they're supposed to do at the right time. And again, not prioritizing, the life of Nigerians. I have told you, Section 33 guarantees of life. Mike, look at what's happening in this country. Life could be lost. Nothing will happen. The best the government will come is we are sorry, we are doing something. Before you know it, they just create an avenue for mass grief. And after that session, it has ended. Before you know, in another time, it will happen. In another time, it has concurrently been happening. To the extent that we even have our senior citizens in this country sometime asking Nigerians to do what? To protect themselves.
Okay, now still talking about protecting ourselves. If I can get this correctly, now when we look at 2024, the fiscal year of 2024, the United States of America supported us with aid assistance, greatly on security angle of amounting to $902.96 million to be exact. That's what they use in supporting, or close to $1 billion United States dollars in support, especially as it concerns security assistance. Now, I'm now also being forced to ask, because many Nigerians are saying, okay, instead of the Americans going ahead and attack, can't all of this collaboration come between we and them? I'm talking about military and that of America. Give us the needed weapons. Give us the information. Give us the guidance. Give us all we seem to need to help defeat these marauding killers that seems to be enjoying the blood of every Nigerian. So would that not be a better approach also to take? Because that's what's also being think among the government circle, that rather than you carrying out that attack, give us the weapons to defeat this.
Okay, but I follow you, my agree.
But I wonder why you're laughing.
Yes, you see, this thing is highly diplomatic. I don't mind the way Trump deployed the word that he would attack Nigeria. People are just looking at that word attack. But in the trueness, the man was pained. At the point he deployed that word, he was pained.
Yeah.
And also when he said Nigeria is considered a peculiar country to them. Peculiar in the sense that particular country to them. In the sense that we hold a very important stake.
Yes.
Among Committee of Nations. And no right-thinking leader in the likes of Trump would want Nigeria to go under.
Yes,
that's the truth.
Yeah.
Now, sir, why can't we rephrase the narratives? Okay. Let us go and meet the United States now. Instead of the attack, we are opening the window of collaboration. Can't we rephrase the narrative, sir?
Okay.
Kill that attack thing, they remove the attack. Bring in collaboration. Think ahead of US. Be smarter than them. Go and meet them, and that we are offering a window for collaboration. So that this power, this strength you are bringing now, we have to want to domesticate it. Right? So that we can actually deal decisively with terrorism in our territory. Can't we do that?
But would there be that trust?
What trust are you talking about?
The trust of America coming.
That the attack now, they're going to redirect the attack to.
No, that's not what I mean.
Yes,
now the question, if you still take your minds to 2020,
yes,
and I can still remember in the month of September or October, the United States government came to Nigeria,
yes,
and rescued an American,
yes,
that was kidnapped
in Niger,
yes, and was being rooted deep into Nigeria.
Yes.
And they did not inform our security agents till after the whole incident. So my question, would there be an opportunity of trust? Is there a window of trust between the United States government and Nigeria on account of the issues of security?
So what trust are you talking about? If both
trust
of us,
on
if I'm saying what was say, build your intelligence mechanism. So if you are defective, who do you blame it on? What I'm saying is a collaboration. And collaboration must come based on documented principles on how these things could be deployed.
Okay.
And if this is done, both of them, are going to deploy, their experts at both ends, Nigeria experts, United States experts, to monitor the operation. No one is going to lord it over the other. So it is a well simplified and agreed platform or template of operation. So if they could do that, the trust they're talking about there is that our professionals, are they thorough? If they are thorough, they are there to protect the Nigerian interest. Just like the United States, professionals will still protect the interest of the United States. But the primary motive is that the focus, the goal is that we are coming to do what? To finish these ugly guys that are perpetrating this crime in our territory. So, can that be done? Can that be achieved? So, just remove that attack that is causing all this brouhaha. Try and massage their ego. Because do you know why? You need to be intelligent in playing international politics or rather international diplomacy. I have told you that the United States is a country, that don't mind whose ox is God if you want to do anything. I say, if you mention United Nations, you are talking about United States. They are the big father. They are the big masquerades, I have told you. They can do anything, and don't mind. You can go to blazes. If you ain't like, let them say anything they want to say. They don't mind. You saw it happen in Iraq. You saw it happen in Iran. So these guys are persons, are entities that we should respect. And they have garnered our respect across the world. And not just garnered our respect. These guys are sophisticated across board. So we must be intelligent enough to be able, to adapt some of the idealism that are useful to us. No, not just holding on sovereignty. You are talking sovereignty. Are you not violating your sovereignty? In our own territory here. Because that sovereignty is built solidly on fundamental rights, rule of law. And that sovereignty frowns, at corruption, manipulation of elections, and all this is not happening. So internally, are we not violating the sovereignty itself? So the issue of sovereignty is more or less like, we are only trying to promote our ego. Leave ego alone. Is insecurity not killing us? It's killing us. Do we desire to kill it? Yes. Not even them. Assuming do Nigerians desire to kill it? Yes, Nigerians desire. Let us kill insecurity and leave other things we're talking about.
Okay, well, anyway, if you feel you are with that mindset, I want us to go to the mindset of Peter Obi when he spoke yesterday. And he said the best way to end this impasse is for dialogue. And he called on the federal government to see how they can, in every way, open the channel to talk to the United States of America to end this impasse. And funny enough, in the news yesterday, we learned that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu would be seeing J.D. Vance and the Vice President of the United States just today. But it's only also early this morning, that the presidency came out to say, well, that is not true, that there will be no meeting between President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Vice President of the United States or the President of the United States in the immediate. We don't know, maybe that will be created in later and to deal with this impact. But my question now is, what will be, in your own honest assessment, yes, you've talked who should kill our ego, reach out to seek collaboration, yes, but what will be the best way to end this impasse at the moment? For you, what should it be? Should it be dialogue, as Mr. Obi said? Should it be us bringing out the olive branch, knowing that the help is going to come to us? What should be the way forward now, so we do not in every way continue to increase the tension?
Yeah, it's dialogue. The dialogue, and I told you, I said, kill the attack. Rephrase that narrative and present it, make it sellable and acceptable to all. Okay. Remove the attack. Be smart now. Be smarter than the thinking of the United States now, right? Readapt that document. Rephrase it. Okay. Present it as what? A collaboration. Okay. Sure you understand. If you present it, United States will not decide and say, yes, these guys have started listening. Collaboration as yes, we are willing, we are happy to accept your ideas, your superpower, your mechanisms on how to help our own internal mechanisms to deal decisively with this terrorism. I think if Nigeria could do that, it's not the best way to go. Because ordinarily, do we not need the help? If I didn't come to say it at this platform, do we not need the help? How long have we been on this road? And there has not been any, tangible sources that some local communities in this country at the time went as far as signing agreement with terrorists. Do you know what that means? That is the ones the media could bring to public space. So that will tell that a lot of things are happening, right? The issue is that it appears we are overwhelmed by this militancy, by these attacks, these Islamic groups, insurgency, or whatever you may call it, across the country. But it is high time we stopped, treating the issues with kid glove. Let us tell ourselves the truth. Have we had national security summit over time? I'm asking you.
It's a question.
It's a question. That means the security issues in this country, do not actually matter to our leaders. That tells you. Do you know that one Nigerian, I want to imagine in the streets of Texas, they said 100 Americans were kidnapped. What are you talking about? It's unheard of. Yes. Do you know why it's unheard of? Because these guys have been prepared, for the unknown.
Yes,
tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they are putting their money where the money should be put to ensure that the welfare and the protection of the citizens are guaranteed. But our leaders here, there's a total departure from that narrative. So instead of putting the money where the money should be spent to protect the Nigerian sovereignty, as they are shouting sovereignty, are you going to protect the sovereignty? That our borders are so porous that insurgents, militants come from small West African countries here into our country and start causing mayhem. We can't even protect our border. You're talking about international.
Now,
what are we talking about?
Okay, now looking at it, I know you're really vexed about this issue, and you really feel dialogue should be the way forward in really dealing with it. But let's just assume, and my assumption will not be wrong. Let's assume now that mediation breaks down and fails. Do you see President Donald Trump going ahead with his plan in attacking the terrorists on his own without the consent of Nigeria? In case, I'm just saying, peradventure, mediation fails. Do you see him doing it? Or you just feel it's just a talk to put us on our toes?
If somebody tells you that Donald Trump is a drunk, would you not tell the person to go back to bed that he woke up from the wrong side of the bed? These guys are men that mean their words. I have told you there is a president among presidents. See, Ted Cruz, Senator Ted Cruz of Texas, was the one that raised the emotion, that raised the alarm that Christians in Nigeria are being persecuted. I went ahead to promulgate the bill, two of us, and that ignited the fire. To telling you that the government of the United States listens to the parliamentarians. So it is more or less like, a coordinated affair. So what touches one touches all. So even, I think I saw on your newspaper review, the man Trump is re-emphasizing on what he said. Making plans already. Look at what you are talking about. You think, I have told you, if somebody told you that comes to tell you that Donald Trump is a drug, would you not tell the person that he should go back to his bed, that he woke up from the wrong side of the bed? These are men, actionable men. These are men that are critical in thinking. They are serious about governance. They know what governance is, and these are men that can do all to protect the sanctity of life. He is pained. He is seeing Nigerians, in quotes, Christians, as Americans, as a people that are supposed to live. Are we not supposed to live? And people forget, even remove the Christian thing, religion thing. The people that are falling under the bullets or the attackers, are they not Nigerians like you and I? So how would you feel? So you like now you join here tomorrow that I was working on the road, one stupid militant just gunned me down, and nothing is done. So how would you feel? You will lament and lament. So that's exactly what it is. The only thing is that we should see these our fallen heroes, our fallen brothers, as our own. They are our compatriots. So what Trump is doing now is more or less like what we citizens ought to have done over time. We ought to have risen up to call our government to order that insecurity must be ended in this country.
Now, talking about ending it, because time is not also a friend of ours, especially when we're having such important and needed discussion. And I'm now also being curious to ask you. Just last week, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu changed the guard of civil, or rather service chiefs in the country, and brought in new service chief. Just maybe all of these is, well, it looks as if they had the foresight that such will come. But I could still also remember when they were being sworn in last week that he gave them a directive to indeed give a red eye and a bloody nose to the terrorists. Now, he has given the directive. Do you see this new service chief with the present pressure on ground, with the meeting we know they had with the NSA yesterday? Do you see them taking the bull by the horn and ending this problem rather than having a foreign power intervene in it? Do you see them? They might
want to take the bull by the horns, but they will be cowed when they found out that the bull does not have the horn.
Oh, come on.
Do you know what I'm saying this? Yes, decisively, patriotically, they might want to take that bull by the horn and finish the whole thing. But on getting there to really execute the task, you find out that yes, there's a bull, but no horn is found on the head. So where would you hold?
Oh, come on.
So this is what I'm telling you, sir. We had a systemic failure. There's a rot across board, sir. If we are willing, if we can tell ourselves the truth, let us begin to deal with the rots. I have told you here, security issues is not a mean investment. Nigeria is not investing enough in security. I have told you, it's not. Migrate, if you want to wire this facility with CCTV, I know how much it's going to cost the establishment. It's not a mini project. Let us, put our money where we should put our money to achieve a result. We spend money on frivolities too much. Whereas the main issues that are calling for attention are treated with levity, with kill groups. That is not what is happening in this country. The military you are talking about, the police you are talking about, the air force you are talking about, the navy you are talking about, how well motivated, how well prepared in terms of platform, equipment, or whatever. Take the police for instance. What you have in the street, are they not ragtag police officers? Are you not telling me that every policeman you see in the street, when he woke up, his intention was to come to the road and start collecting money? It's because the system has failed and the government has refused to do what? To fix the rot in the system. So it appears that we do not prioritize, not we, they themselves, do not prioritize good governance. Everything starts and ends at good governance, Mr. Mike. So if the president is serious, let him organize a security parliament where Nigerians will now come and bring in white papers on how the issues can be fixed, and he must be determined to fix them, deploy money where money should be put, and not spending money on frivolities like we have seen.
Okay. Well, anyway, I really need to stop you there because time is not a friend. And I would have loved to ask more questions because we talked about us not spending so much as it concerns security.
We are not.
In our last budget, about 6.35 trillion was spent in security. When in even 2024, we had about 3.58 trillion. So we almost doubled our military spending.
Nominal value. The real value, look at the inflationary trend. You have not brought it to play. It's for that amount is starting to compare to what we spent last.
Well, anyway, I'll not make you be an economist on the show that we're talking about security and tension. But what I will do rather to you now is to thank you so much for adding your voice to this lovely discussion. And I would really say we really appreciate your insight into it. And our prayers is, well, just like if you're giving that advice to the federal government to see how they can dialogue rather than this new aggressive tone that we're hearing from flying from different quarters. The need for dialogue, especially as Peter Obi said yesterday, and also our guest, Emeka Awokocha, is also emphasizing today on the show. But all the same, thank you so much for being a part of it.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, Mr. B. Thank you for you guys. You guys are doing greatly well.
Well, thank you so very much. Well, anyway, it's more like a wrap for us today on the show, but you do know the discussion and the conversation does not end here. And now, let it keep continuing on our different social media platforms. They're already there on your screen. Let us get to hear from you what you feel the federal government needs to do to end this recent impasse or rather end or dozen detention that seems to have rose just recently on account of what President Donald Trump said 2 days back on his X handle, saying that, well, if the federal government does not take the bull by the horn, undermining Comrade Emeka Awokota feels the cow doesn't have any, that they would have to indeed attack and indeed see how they can protect, as he said, those cherished Christians. We'll cherish your comment, we'll cherish your insight into all of that. So go drop it on our different social media platforms. Let's get to hear your take. And also might be really surprised that I might really be thanking you always as you do, and also reading out your comments and contribution. But for me, Michael Gobadia, it's a quick wrap. Remember, the news will come around the hour and will be trending, not just on security issues, or many issues when Mercy Arabo comes around to give you more that seems to be happening on the social media. But for me, Michael Gobadia, bye for now.